Hi everyone, I'm Bubbles from Susan's family. Today I'm bringing you a flowers multi-use bag. This bag is made up of the main part, the strap, and the lining. The lining is a finished product. No need to make it. First, crochet the main part, then make the strap, finally insert the lining. Let's start learning how to crochet the main part, which consists of the bottom, the body, the sides and the flowers. First, crochet the bottom. Use the foundation chain method, then crocheting in rounds counterclockwise along the foundation chain. The stitches used are chain, single crochet, and single crochet increase. Now, let's show. For easier viewing, I'll demonstrate with a different yarn here. For specific yarn, color scheme and hook size, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. First, let's cast on. Wrap the yarn tail around your left little finger once. Pass it through between the middle finger and index finger. Then pinch the yarn tail with your thumb and middle finger. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Position it underneath the yarn. Yarn over counterclockwise. Left thumb and middle finger. Pinch the crossing point of the loop. Put the hook on the left side of the yarn. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. The starting knot does not count as a stitch. Gently tighten. Now begin to crochet chain stitches. Yarn over and draw through. One chain stitch is complete. Each braid represents one stitch. Continue crocheting chain stitches. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. This is the second stitch. Repeat this process. Crochet chain stitches. Keep crocheting until reaching the required number of stitches. I'm using fewer starting stitches for my swatch. Refer to the chart for the exact stitch count. 3, 4, 5. After completing, on the last stitch, pick up 2 strands from the edge. Place a stitch marker to mark it. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can also use a safety pin or paperclip instead. This completes the cast on. Now begin the first round. Work one chain as the turning chain for the single crochet. The turning chain does not count as a stitch. Then make one single crochet. On the right side, the chain looks like a V-shaped loop. Insert your hook into the front loop of the second chain from the left. That is the marked stitch. Pick up one strand. Make one single crochet. Insert. Pull the yarn through. Now there are 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all loops at once. This completes one single crochet. Corresponds to the V-shaped loop above and to the right. This is the stitch of a single crochet. Mark the stitch. Continue making another single crochet in the same position as the first single crochet. Then into the adjacent chain on the left. Pick up the back loop and work a single crochet. Yarn over. Pull the yarn through. Yarn over again. Pull through all loops on the hook at once. This completes another single crochet stitch. Continue down by picking the top loop of the next chains. Work one single crochet into each stitch evenly. Keep crocheting until the second to last stitch on the left. When reaching the last chain, pick up the top loop of this chain. Crochet 3 single crochets. Three. Then rotate the piece. Pick up the other 2 strands on the opposite side of the chain and crochet into them. Note: this is the same insertion point where the previous 3 single crochets were worked. Work into the adjacent chain. While crocheting, place the starting tail above the hook. Weave in the end as you crochet. Continue down. Pick up the remaining top loops of the chains on this side. Correspondingly make single crochets. These single crochets match those on the opposite side. Keep going with crocheting. When reaching the starting single crochet, work one more single crochet here. Plus the 2 beginning stitches. Also made 3 stitches. After completing, make 1 slip stitch at the marker position. Insert the hook into the marked stitch. Yarn over and draw through. Pull through all loops on the hook in once. This completes 1 slip stitch. This is the chain formed by the slip stitch. The slip stitch doesn't count as a stitch. Pull tight to prevent accidentally adding extra stitches later. From now on, all joining slip stitches need to be pulled tight. I won't mention it again later. This completes the first round. Move on to crochet round 2. Work 1 chain as the turning chain for single crochet. Insert the hook into the marked stitch below. Make a single crochet increase. That means in the same stitch, work 2 single crochets. Mark the first stitch. Two. 1 single crochet increase is done. Continue to work a single crochet increase in the adjacent stitch. Then work 1 single crochet into each stitch evenly. Keep crocheting until you reach the previous round, right before the 3 single crochets worked into the same stitch. Now you've reached these 3 stitches. Work a SC2 in 1 for each. Three. After completing the 3 single crochet increases, rotate the piece along the other side, correspondingly make single crochets. Keep going until 1 stitch remains. Once completed, into this last stitch, work another single crochet increase. Finally join with a slip stitch at the stitch marker position. Pull tight. Now round 2 is complete. Now start crocheting round 3. Make 1 beginning chain, then work into each stitch from the previous round. Work 1 single crochet into each stitch. No single crochet increases needed in this round. Mark the first stitch. Later, if you can easily find the first stitch position, you may skip marking it. Work this round completely. Once completed, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. This completes round 3. The bag base is now finished. Don't cut the yarn. Next, let's learn how to crochet the bag body. Continue crocheting upward from the bag base. The new stitch technique used is treble crochet. Now, let's show. First, work round 1. Make 1 beginning chain. The crocheting method for this round is identical to the final round of the bag base. Work single crochet correspondingly into each stitch. Work this round completely. From here on, I won't mark the stitches anymore. After finishing, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. This completes round 1. Round 2 is also worked even. Please complete round 2 on your own. After finishing, start crocheting round 3. First work a slip stitch transition into the adjacent stitch. This slip stitch is shown as an oval shape, meaning not to tighten. Then make 3 chains as beginning chain. Then work 2 chain spaces. Then skip 1 stitch below. Work a treble crochet into the next adjacent stitch. The technique for treble crochet is yarn over the hook twice, insert the hook, pull the yarn through, then yarn over, draw through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this twice. This is an incomplete treble crochet. Now there are still 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all loops at once, so 1 treble crochet is completed. Then work 2 chain spaces again. Then skip the next stitch below. Work 1 treble crochet in the adjacent stitch. First make an incomplete treble crochet. Then yarn over and draw through all loops at once, so another treble crochet is completed. Then work 2 chains. Pay attention here, skip 2 stitches below. Then work 1 treble crochet. Continue below with 2 chain spaces. 1 treble crochet, skip 2 stitches below. Repeat 16 times. Note, the swatch has fewer stitches. Once completed, work 2 chains. and 1 treble crochet, skip 1 stitch below, repeat 3 times. Once completed, continue alternating crocheting 2 chains, and 1 treble crochet, skipping 2 stitches below each time. Work this round completely. When finished, 1 single crochet remains at the end. Then work 2 chain spaces and insert your hook into the 3rd chain of the beginning chain, picking up the top 2 strands. Make 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes round 3. Now proceed to crochet round 4. The crocheting method for this round is the same as round 3, almost identical, only the insertion point is different. Work 3 chains to begin. The beginning chain corresponds to the starting chain of the previous round. Then work 2 more chains. Then work 1 treble crochet in the adjacent treble crochet. After completing it, work 2 chains. Take a look. This round corresponds to working a treble crochet into each treble crochet from the previous round, with 2 chains between them. Work this round completely. When finished, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Pull tight. This completes round 4. Next, continue following the crochet method of round 4. Complete the remaining rounds for the bag body. For any new stitch techniques, or methods not yet used, refer to the chart and crochet accordingly. After completing the corresponding round, work 1 chain to secure, leave a bit of tail and fasten off yarn. Then hide the yarn tail on the wrong side. That concludes the bag body. Now let's move on to crocheting the sides. It consists of left and right sides. Crochet one side first, then crochet the other side after finishing the first. The new stitch technique used is treble crochet 2 stitches together. Now, let's show. Here I'll start with the right side. Let's begin with row 1. Locate the starting chain position of the bag body. Count to the right from the beginning chain. Join yarn in the 3rd treble crochet. Pull the yarn through. Joining the yarn is complete. Then make 4 chains as turning chain. Then work 1 treble crochet in the adjacent double crochet. treat the turning chain and this treble crochet as one special treble crochet decrease. Then work 2 chain spaces. Work 1 treble crochet in the next adjacent treble crochet. Then work 2 chain spaces. Then at the position of the beginning chain, slip stitch into the same insertion point. After completing, work 2 chain spaces. Then work 1 treble crochet. Two chains. 1 treble crochet. Two chains. Finally work 1 treble crochet decrease. First in the next 2 adjacent stitches, work 1 incomplete treble crochet in each. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. This completes 1 treble crochet decrease. Row 1 is now complete. Now begin crocheting row 2. Make a beginning chain of 4 chains. Turn the work. Then work 1 treble crochet into the adjacent treble crochet. Note, after turning, the stitch is in the upper left position. Take a look. Treat the beginning chain and this treble crochet as one special treble crochet decrease. Then repeat 2 times. 2 chains and 1 treble crochet. After completing that, work 2 more chains. Finally make 1 treble crochet decrease. First work an incomplete treble crochet into the adjacent treble crochet. Then work another incomplete treble crochet into the special treble crochet decrease from the previous row. That is, insert the hook into this treble crochet and work. Finally yarn over and draw through all loops in once. So row 2 is completed. Now proceed to crocheting row 3. Make a foundation chain of 4 chains to begin. Turn the work. Work 1 treble crochet into the adjacent treble crochet. Then work 2 chains, followed by 1 treble crochet decrease. So row 3 is completed. Chain 1 to secure. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off yarn. Weave in ends. Weave in the yarn tail from the starting join as well, so the right side is completed. Now proceed to crocheting the left side. First begin row 1. Start by joining the yarn, aligning with the last stitch of row 1 on the right side, separated by 12 stitches. Note, this is my swatch, with fewer stitches. Join the yarn in the adjacent stitch. First work 1 special treble crochet decrease. Then work 2 chains, followed by 4 treble crochets, separated by 2 chain spaces. After completing, work another 2 chains. Finally work 1 treble crochet decrease. So row 1 is complete. Next, follow the crocheting method on the right side. Complete the remaining 2 rows. After finishing, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. So the left side is done, and all sides are now covered. Now let's learn how to crochet the flowers. There are 2 sizes, large and small. Crochet them first, then assemble. Let's start with the small flower. Use the foundation chain method. Work along the starting chain. The new stitch technique used is a 4DC bobble stitch. Now, let's show. To make it easier for everyone to see clearly, I'll continue to demonstrate with another yarn. When using the original yarn, the stitches might be hard to see. So here I'll first demonstrate with a different yarn. Please follow the video to learn the method. You can also practice the stitch with other yarns at home. Once you've learned the corresponding stitch and crocheting method, then use the original yarn to crochet. I'll also demonstrate later with the original yarn. If you have trouble finding the stitch, start with a chain cast on. Make a slip knot. Then work 1 chain. This completes the starting chain. If you're worried about losing your place, you can pick up 1-2 strands at the side of this chain and mark it. Now begin crocheting the first round. Make 1 beginning chain. Then work 5 single crochets into the starting chain. That's the marked position. Mark it as you crochet. Place a marker on the first single crochet. Now take a look. Here's the effect after completing the first single crochet with the original yarn. Once the first single crochet is completed, you can faintly see the stitch of the single crochet in the upper right. If you can't clearly distinguish it, take a closer look, right under these 2 strands of yarn. The spot where the hook easily inserts. Is the stitch? Mark it when crocheting with the original yarn. Or you can mark it in advance. Go back one stitch here. Meaning after completing this beginning chain, there's a loop on your hook. We'll pick the 2 strands below the hook to mark. After marking it, work a single crochet. Continue with 4 single crochets in this chain stitch. Remove the stitch marker from the chain. After completing, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet, that is, the marked position. Pull tight. So the first round is completed. Now let's take a look at how it looks after finishing the first round with the original yarn. You can start counting from the marker position. Each stitch has this kind of braid. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. A total of 5 stitches were worked here. Join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. Next, crochet round 2. Make 3 chains to start. Then in the first round, same stitch as the slip stitch join, work a DC4 bobble stitch, which is the marked position from the previous round. First make 4 incomplete double crochets here. Let's start with the first one. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over again. Pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. This is an incomplete double crochet. Into the same stitch, work 3 more incomplete double crochets. Weave in the yarn tails as you crochet. Once completed, yarn over and draw through all loops in once. That's a DC4 bobble stitch. Later we'll simply call it bobble stitch. Then work 3 chains into the same stitch as the bobble stitch. Make 1 slip stitch. Gently tighten. You don't need to mark it here anymore. Count the completed stitch as 1 small petal. Now crochet the second petal. First into the adjacent single crochet, make 1 slip stitch. Meaning insert into the 2 strands right next to this slip stitch. Then work 3 chains. Continue into the same stitch. Work 1 bobble stitch. First work 4 incomplete double crochets. Then yarn over and draw through all loops in once. So 1 bobble stitch is completed. Then work 3 chains. Continue with 1 slip stitch in the same place. So the second small petal is finished. Then repeat the same steps as for the second small petal. Crochet 3 more. Let me demonstrate once again. First into the adjacent stitch, make 1 slip stitch. Then work 3 chains. Continue with 1 bobble stitch in the same place. Three chains. And 1 slip stitch. So the third small petal is completed. Continue to crochet 2 more. After finishing, leave a tail about 30 centimeters long, and cut the yarn. So 1 small flower is finished. Tidy up. Push all the right sides forward. Now take a look at the original yarn. The finished effect also has this 5-petal flower. Each petal has chains on both sides. And stitches on the top. Next, using the same method, crochet all the remaining small flowers on the main part. After finishing, at the center position on the front side of the small flower, sew on 1 purl. Cut about 30 centimeter of sewing thread. Thread it into a finer sewing needle. First secure the yarn tail on the wrong side of the small flower. Then pull out the needle and sew on the purl. You can sew a few times to secure it well. After sewing, secure the yarn tail on the back side. Next, using the same method, sew a purl onto each small flower. That's it for crocheting the small flowers. Next, let's learn how to crochet the large flowers. We will start from foundation chain. Follow the magic ring, form a loop. Now, let's show the method for the starting chain, and the first round is identical to that of the small flowers. First, crochet the starting chain and the first round. After completing them, move on to crocheting the second round. In this round, work a single crochet increase in each stitch of the previous round. Make a single crochet increase. Chain 1 to begin. First, make a single crochet increase in the first stitch, which is the marked position. Move the marker to the first stitch. Continue working a single crochet increase in each stitch around the first round. After completing, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. So the second round is completed. Since we need to change colors for the next round, leave a bit of tail and fasten off yarn. Hide the yarn tail on the wrong side. Next, work the third round. This round is for crocheting petals, mostly worked using the Afghan stitch technique. The crocheting method is special. We recommend watching the demonstration first, or practice with other yarns. Get familiar before crocheting. Now, let's show. Take the corresponding color yarn. First, join the yarn in the last stitch of the previous round. Then work 4 chain stitches. Next, work the vertical line stitch technique. Here it's referred to as the forward stitch. Take a look at the back of the chain stitch. There are horizontal bars 1 by 1. This is the inner bump of the chain stitch. Now check the original yarn. The front side of the chain stitch has a braid-like shape. And the back side also has a horizontal bar. Which is the inner bump of the chain stitch? Insert the hook into the inner bump of the first chain stitch. pull the yarn through. This is the first forward stitch. Then insert into the inner bump of the next chain stitch. Pull the yarn through. This is the second forward stitch. Continue with the third and fourth stitches. Pick the inner bump each time, pull the yarn through. After completing the inner bumps, in the same stitch as the slip stitch, make one forward stitch. Insert and draw the yarn through. Now on your hook, not counting the first loop. There are 5 loops, indicating you've made 5 stitches. Now move on to the backward stitches, which form the wave-shaped line. Yarn over. Pull through the first 2 loops one by one. Repeat 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. Once done, the backward stitches are completed. The first set of forward and backward stitches is now finished. Next, make the second set. Chain 1. This chain counts as one additional stitch. Then pick up the back loop of the chain, crochet a front stitch. Then along the back loops formed by the backward stitches from the previous row, crochet 4 front stitches in sequence. Once completed, at the position of the first stitch of round 2, crochet 1 more front stitch. Then proceed with the backward stitches, a total of 6 times. The second set of forward and backward stitches is now finished. Now start the third set. First pick up the back loop from the previous row, crochet 5 front stitches in sequence. Don't miss the first stitch position. Then into the adjacent stitch of round 2. Crochet 1 more stitch. Then proceed with the backward stitches. Do 6 backward stitches. The third set of forward and backward stitches is now completed. Next, crochet the fourth set. First pick up the back loop and make 1 slip stitch. Which is equivalent to decreasing 1 stitch. Then pick up the back loop and crochet 4 front stitches in sequence. Then crochet 1 more stitch into the second stitch of round 2. After completing, do the backward stitches, a total of 5 times. Once the backward stitches are done, pick up the back loop and crochet slip stitches in sequence. After finishing, into the second stitch of round 2, crochet 1 more slip stitch. Gently tighten this slip stitch. Let's take a look. Treat the completed part as one petal. Each petal takes up 2 stitches. 4 front stitches and 4 backward stitches, forming 4 texture lines like this. Next I'll demonstrate crocheting a petal once again. First make 1 slip stitch in the adjacent stitch. Slightly tighten. Then chain 4. Pick up the back loop, work 1 front stitch at a time. A total of 4 stitches. Then in the same stitch as the slip stitch, make 1 more stitch. Then work backward stitches 1 by 1. First time completed. Now do it a second time. First chain 1, then work front stitches 1 by 1, a total of 6 stitches. The last stitch, crochet in the same stitch as round 2. After completing, work the decrease stitches. This completes the second time. Now crochet the third time. First make 6 front stitches. Note, for the last stitch here, crochet in the adjacent stitch of round 2. Then work the decrease stitches. This completes the third time. Now crochet the fourth time. Make 1 slip stitch first. Then work the front stitches. The last stitch is crocheted on the stitch of round 2. After completing, work the decrease stitches. The fourth time is completed. Then pick up the inner loops and crochet slip stitches in sequence. Finally make 1 slip stitch on the stitch of round 2. Pull tight. This completes the second petal. It also takes up 2 stitches. Next, continue crocheting the same as the second petal. Crochet the remaining petals. After finishing, at the starting join position, make one more slip stitch to join. Pull tight. There are two ways, leaving a long tail or not leaving a tail. For the long tail method, leave about 60 cm yarn, and fasten off yarn. For the no tail method, after completing the slip stitch, leave a bit of tail and fasten off yarn, then hide the yarn tail on the wrong side. One large flower is now completed. Next, follow the same method. Crochet the remaining large flowers. After finishing, proceed to assembly. Sew the large and small flowers onto their positions on the bag body. Start by sewing on the small flowers. Take a look at the finished product. There are two small flowers on the left side, and one small flower on the right side. Between the two small flowers on the left side, leave space for the large flower. For the exact position, please refer to the finished product, or sew according to your own preference. Now I'll demonstrate the sewing method. Thread the reserved yarn tail into the sewing needle. In practice, thread it through a plastic needle like this. Here I'm using a swatch, so I'll demonstrate with another sewing needle. Then bring the yarn tail from the wrong side to approximately the middle position. And sew the small flower onto the corresponding position on the main part. Pick up the thread on the back side of the small flower, and sew it securely to the main part. In this demonstration, after sewing, tie a knot on the wrong side, and weave in the ends. Tidy up. And one small flower is done. Next, refer to the finished product for positioning, and sew the remaining two small flowers in place. That concludes the demonstration for attaching the small flowers. Next, sew on the large flowers. Each one is made by sewing together two large flower pieces. First sew the two pieces together, then attach them to the bag body. Now, let's show. First take two large flower pieces. One with a long reserved yarn tail, one without a reserved yarn tail. Note, the colors should be identical. Place the two fabric pieces with their wrong sides facing each other. The right side faces out. Align the petals as well. Then use markers to temporarily secure a few points. and whip stitch along each petal, drawing through the chains of both front and back pieces. Pay attention. On the back, insert into the corresponding stitch. At the beginning, sew an extra round. Continue sewing into adjacent chains. Continue sewing until this petal section is complete. Between two petals, you can roughly pick up 1-2 strands and sew once. Once one petal is sewn, continue sewing along the next petal. There should be no visible hole between two petals. Later, if the yarn tail is not long enough, tie a knot and weave in ends within the fabric. Then take a new yarn to continue sewing. Leave a short tail. Sew and hide the tail as you go. Repeat this process. Continue sewing until only one petal position remains. When reaching between two petals, also sew one stitch. Once finished, there should be no visible holes. After sewing, stuff each petal with fiber fill. Stuffing. Fluffing up before stuffing. Here you can use a crochet hook to help. Make sure each petal is firmly stuffed. Once completed, continue sewing. Sew the last petal while stuffing it gradually. After sewing, then sew the finished large flower onto the bag body. Sew to the bag body. Here I'm sewing at a random position, just demonstrating the method. The exact position, please refer to the finished product. You can also sew it according to your preference, on any side corresponding to the bag body. Then pick up 1-2 strands from each petal, and securely sew them to the bag body. After sewing, tie off and weave in the ends neatly. So one large flower is now finished. Next, follow the same method. Attach the remaining large flowers to their corresponding positions. That's all for assembling the large flowers. And that concludes the assembly. Up to this point, the main part is now complete. Next, let's learn how to crochet the straps. For convenience of explanation, I'll divide it into strap 1, strap 2, and strap 3, as well as the securing pieces and flowers. Crochet them separately first, then assemble them together, among which the crocheting method for strap 1 and strap 2 is basically the same, only the length differs. I'll first demonstrate crocheting strap 1 and strap 2. First, crochet shrimp stitches of corresponding lengths respectively. The crocheting method is special. It's recommended to watch the demonstration before starting. Start with a foundation chain of 4 chains. Then begin from the second chain from the hook. Pick up the front loop, and crochet 3 single crochets in sequence. Treat the crocheted part as one row. Now work row 2. Turn the fabric piece underneath. Then skip the edge stitch. Work 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 adjacent stitches. Then pick up 1 strand from the side edge. Work 1 single crochet. So row 2 is completed. Now take a look at the original yarn. The last stitch of row 2. Also pick up one strand from the side edge, and work a single crochet. Now work row 3. First turn the fabric piece. Again skip the edge stitch. Work 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 adjacent stitches. Then pick up 2 strands from the edge and work 1 single crochet. Row 3 is completed. Now take a look at the original yarn. For the last stitch of row 3, also pick up 2 strands from the side edge to work the single crochet. I'll demonstrate one more row. First turn the fabric piece. Then pick up 2 adjacent stitches. Work 1 single crochet in each. Then follow the method of row 3. Pick up 2 strands from the side edge, and work 1 single crochet. Continue crocheting according to row 3, until reaching the length corresponding to the chart. You can also adjust the length as needed. Now everyone can continue crocheting on their own. When completed, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. After finishing the piece, crochet the edging around the outer edge. Work slip stitches along the sides. Work single crochets on both ends. And strap 2 also needs to wrap around the spring clip. Now, let's show. Take the completed fabric piece, and the corresponding color yarn. Join yarn at any position along the side edge. Then crochet slip stitches along the side edge. Here, pick up the horizontal bars along the edge to crochet. Work slip stitches along the sides. Make the slip stitches slightly loose. Note: when working strap 2 to one end, it needs to wrap around the spring clip. If crocheting strap 1, no wrapping is needed. Here I'll demonstrate the wrapping method. The ends here are worked in single crochet. First work 2 single crochets at one corner. Insert the hook into the spring clip at the same time. Work 1 single crochet in the middle. Continue with 2 single crochets at the other corner. This wraps the spring clip. Then continue crocheting along the other side. Work slip stitches. When reaching the other end, strap 2 continues to wrap around the spring clip. Remember to work single crochets. Work 2 single crochets at each of the 2 corners. Work 1 single crochet in the middle. Now finish crocheting the remaining part. After completing, work 1 more stitch at the joining position. Leave a yarn tail of about 10 cm and fasten off. Thread the yarn tail through a yarn needle. Then pass it through the starting chain. And insert it back into the chain where the tail is located. Finally tie a knot and weave in ends neatly. Take the side of the slip stitch that faces forward as the right side of the piece. The wrong side has visible horizontal bars. That concludes the crocheting of strap 1 and strap 2. Next, learn how to crochet strap 3. There are 2 types, long and short. Both are crocheted using the method of holding the yarn and chaining. Now, let's show. Before working, leave a yarn tail about 3 times the desired length of the strap. Hold the yarn with left hand. The reserved yarn is underneath. First make a slip knot. Then drape the reserved yarn from front to back over the hook. Yarn over. Pull the yarn through the loop and the strand below. First stitch is complete. Place the tail end from front to back over the hook. Continue crocheting. Yarn over on the hook. Draw the yarn through. Keep repeating the crochet. Continue until reaching the required length. Refer to the chart for exact length. After completing, leave a tail of about 20 cm and cut the yarn. Leave a little and cut off the other end. Hide the yarn tail within the fabric piece. That's all for strap 3. Next, let's learn how to crochet the fixed piece. We will start from foundation chain. Work back and forth along the cast-on edge. Now, let's show. First, make 7 chain stitches. Now crochet row 1. Make 1 beginning chain. Start from the second chain from the hook. Pick up the back loop. Work 7 single crochets in each stitch. Once completed, row 1 is done. Now crochet row 2. Make 1 beginning chain, turn the work, then along the previous row, correspondingly make single crochets. Row 2 is complete. Now continue to work row 3. Make 1 beginning chain, turn the work, continue along the previous row, correspondingly make single crochets. Once completed, row 3 is done. Next, crochet rows 4 to 5 as well. After finishing, leave a yarn tail of about 20 cm and cut the yarn. That's it for securing the fabric piece. Now let's crochet the flowers. Here it's also made up of large and small flowers. The crocheting method is the same as the main part's flowers. Everyone follow the method you've learned earlier. Refer to the chart. First crochet the corresponding number of large and small flowers. After completing the large flowers, sew each pair of pieces together with right sides facing. The small flowers are also placed on the right side. Use sewing thread to attach pearls. And each small flower also needs to be sewn with 2 pieces matched up. Now let's show. Thread the reserved yarn tail into the yarn needle. Here you can temporarily secure the small flower before sewing. Sew along the chain and the stitch above on the side of each petal. Do not stuff when sewing. Sew through the chain space 2-3 times. You can also sew 1 stitch between small flowers. After finishing, tie off and weave in the ends neatly. Tidy up. Now one small flower is sewn on. Next, follow the same method. Sew on the remaining small flowers. After completing, set them aside for later use. Now proceed to assembly. First take a look at the finished product. Sew the long and short strap 3 onto both ends of strap 1 respectively. Long and short strap 3. Now, let's sew. Thread the reserved yarn tail into the yarn needle. Then on the wrong side of strap 1, sew at either end. If you sew the short strap 3 first, leave the yarn tail unsecured after sewing here, then attach the long strap 3 to the other end. Thread the reserved yarn tail into the yarn needle. Then fold this end in half about 6 cm and sew it together. Note, my sample here is shorter. Tie off and weave in the ends neatly. Then take another piece of yarn, about 20 cm long, at the folded position, sew it to the other end of strap 1. First secure the yarn tail. Then tie off and weave in the ends neatly. This completes the assembly of strap 3. Next, attach flowers to strap 3. On the short strap 3, attach one large flower and one small flower. On the long strap, attach one small flower, one large flower, and 3 small flowers in sequence. Now let's start by attaching the flowers to the short strap. Thread the short strap into a yarn needle. Then insert it through one large flower first. Insert through the middle of any petal. And pull out at the opposite position. If the needle is hard to pull through, you can exit through any other petal instead. Then remove the needle. Thread the reserved yarn tail from strap 3 into the needle. Then sew the large flower to the strap with a few stitches to secure it in place. Finally tie off and weave in the ends neatly. Then thread a small flower. Again insert through the middle of any petal. And exit at the opposite position. Then remove the needle. Next take about 3/0 cm of same color yarn. Fold the other end of strap 3 about 3/4 cm in half. And sew it securely into the small flower. First secure the yarn tail well. Sew 2 stitches to secure the strap first. Then roughly pull the secured part into the small flower. Then sew a few stitches to secure it to the small flower. Finally tie off and weave in the ends neatly. This secures the flower on the short strap 3 position. Now secure the flower on the long strap 3. First thread the strap into the sewing needle, then insert through the large and small flowers in order. The color scheme sequence here can be decided according to your preference. These flowers don't need to be sewn in place. They should remain moving. After threading, remove the needle. Next fold the remaining strap in half. Then sew the fabric piece to secure it at the folded position. I'll continue to demonstrate with a swatch. Take the fabric piece, thread the reserved yarn tail into the sewing needle. There's no need to distinguish front and back here. Wrap the fabric piece around the overlapping part of the strap. Use the whip stitch method to sew the last row to the starting point. The starting tail can be woven in as you sew. After sewing, tie off and weave in the ends neatly. Now the fabric piece is securely sewn in place. Attach the spring clip at the folded position of the long strap 3. This end can be adjusted for length as needed. Next take strap 2 and clip its spring clip onto the short strap 3. Then attach the other end to the middle chain space of the last row, on one side edge of the bag body. Then take the spring clip on the long strap 3 and clip it to the last row, on the opposite side edge of the bag body. If you want to use it as a phone strap, you can insert this pad into a phone case. Then attach the spring clips on both ends of the strap to this buckle. Or you can use strap 1 or strap 2 separately. When using strap 1, take an extra spring clip. Attach it to the other end of strap 1. Then clip it into the pad. If using strap 2, simply clip both ends into the pad directly. Just switch between them according to your personal needs. This completes the assembly. And that's all for the straps. By now we've covered the entire bag. If you still have unclear parts while crocheting, don't hesitate to join our Facebook group to get supports. Customer service, Susan's family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.